Hi guys, so MPs have a very important job. They represent their constituents, they ask questions on their behalf, they write bills, they read bills, they debate bills, and eventually they push those bills through Parliament and into law. Now, because of that responsibility, that load on their shoulders, they earn, well, how much do they earn? The basic annual salary of a Member of Parliament MP in the House of Commons is £81,932. So that's a significant sum, and you would imagine because of that amount of money and because of the responsibility they have on their shoulders, they would use their time in Parliament to talk about things that are in the national interest or affect people's lives in an important way. Well, you'd be mistaken.
Mr. Speaker, I've had my Weetabix this morning. I hope you've had yours. Weetabix is a world-famous breakfast cereal made in Burton Latimer in the Kettering constituency. Yeah. One of the debates that has been dividing the nation this week, perhaps even more divisive than Brexit has been over the years, is whether having Weetabix with baked beans is an attractive serving suggestion for a healthy meal. Now, we all need a little light relief in these difficult times, so may we have a debate on breakfast cereals and their contribution to a healthy diet, so that we can all arrive at the shared position that with whatever it is served, Weetabix is a great British breakfast cereal, fully worthy of promotion.
Now, let's just go back to how much he's earning again. £81,932 per year. And he wants to talk about breakfast cereal. Now, maybe Philip Hollobone is extremely concerned about the breakfast, the welfare of the people of Britain, making sure that they get enough to eat. Well, you can probably imagine where this is going. This is a vote. I did very little research on this, but I found this pretty quickly. It says here, Food Bank's Economic Policies, the 18th of December 2013. And it says here, the majority of MPs voted against publishing the results of research into food banks and against freezing energy prices, against a water affordability scheme, against measures to end abuse of zero-hour contract, including incentives for those paying the living wage, and against abolishing the under-occupancy penalty for social housing tenants. What's this guy's name again? Philip Hollobone. Well, Philip voted with the government. Well, the government at the time voted with the Tories. He rejected this information. So this was publishing research, and he was against publishing this research. Well, you could say, well, this was a long time ago. What about something more recent? Well, on the 13th of May, the Coronavirus Emergency Fund Food Plan, and there was a proposal, the new proposed clause rejected in the vote was titled Coronavirus Emergency Food Plan, and it began, the Secretary of State must, within 6 months of royal assent, be given to this act, prepare and lay out before Parliament a document setting out measures to address the impact of coronavirus and the coronavirus disease and take action upon the supply of food. The Coronavirus Emergency Food Plan must assess and address the matters listed in section 17.2. Okay, the incidence of hunger, malnutrition and food poverty measured nationally and by local authority area, the level of demand for emergency food aid and the adequacy of services to meet that demand, the availability, distribution and affordability of nutritious and healthy food. And then it goes on to talk about other things which are related to that. Well, how did Mr. what's his name again? Philip Hollobone vote? The Conservatives voted against this, and not one Conservative MP voted with the Labour Party who put forward this motion. So when this guy talks about he cares about nutritional food, for whom?
Luke.
Mr. Speaker, as they used to say, Weetabix are on Beetabix. My personal preference, if I were to eat Weetabix, is not with baked beans, which I've always thought absolutely disgusting. There was an advert. Well, I'm sorry if I've upset the makers of baked beans, but there was a saying, which is desperately politically incorrect nowadays, so I hope the right old lady will forgive me. It was their advertising slogan. 1 million housewives every day pick up a can of beans and say, Heinz leans beans. But when I was a child, this was corrupted to 1 million housewives every day pick up a can of beans and say, yuck, throw them away. And I'm sorry, that has always been my view of baked beans. But Weetabix is absolutely splendid, served with hot milk and brown sugar. Though for preference for breakfast, Mr. Speaker, you will know what I like. It's Nanny's homemade marmalade on toast.
There are people queuing to get access to food at food banks. There are fishermen not able to sell their fish abroad because of Brexit bureaucracy and Brexit red tape. There is a pandemic where many people are not being supported financially by the government, being told to stay at home, but they're not getting the support they need. There are people on universal credit who are desperate for this extra £20 top up or uplift. And when these issues are brought up in Parliament, Jacob Rees-Mogg ignores them, tells the people basically to get lost. And he has entertained this ridiculous question. He's given it more time than a legitimate question from the SNP or from the Labour side. At what stage will people wake up and realise that the Conservative Party don't give a crap about them? They would prefer to talk about Weetabix and beans than people's lives. I usually have something to say, but I'm pretty much lost for words here. What can we say in response to this? The government's job is to look after its citizens, to look after the most vulnerable, those who are poor, those who are dependent on the social safety net, those with disabilities, and those who have mental health issues. That's the government's job. Jacob Rees-Mogg and our friend here are paid considerable sums of money to do that. And instead of doing that, they talk about trivial issues. Now, Jacob Rees-Mogg sits in a safe seat. He will not be thrown out at the next Parliament unless some drastic thing happens. But he'll be back again to talk about nanny and marmalade on toast. And the crowds will cheer him on. And the poor will get poorer, and the sick will get sicker, and the forgotten will remain forgotten. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?